good again. Yeah, so we have an illusion rune. Hopefully we should be able to last it a little bit better against him now since he's at full HP. We're not going to be able to pressure him as much. Okay. Well, I'll bring up now, I guess, or no, actually I want to talk about Madam Choice. Oh yeah, we're going to look for where the rune is right away. Every 2 minutes it's important to just see the rune. We know it's top, so we want to pressure this lane as quickly as possible. Like using our mana to nuke down the creep wave so that we can force him back up against the tower, and then we can go grab the rune. Because if he was to try to run for the rune, our creeps would give us vision of him. So that's just the situation. That's why it's good to use your mana when you know the rune's about to spawn or has spawned. Usually you should do it when it's about to spawn. Anyway, we get an invis rune, so this is going to help us set up a gank top. Just going to let our teammates know to go now. We're going to target Bombardier first because he's the squishier of the two, and the other one can blink. Throw out Haunt. We should Sonar Scream right away. I don't know why we don't. And yeah, now we're silenced, so we can't. That's pretty foolish. We definitely should have just Sonar Scream right away, but we're going to get the kill anyway. Maybe we would have gotten both if we'd Sonar Scream, because Blood Hunter might have vision of the Dark Lady now. Who knows? So yeah, bit of a mistake there, but I guess forgivable. I think we kind of expected Forsaken Archer to do more, but unfortunately she got bombed. Torturer we see is missing from mid, and it was probably a late call, so we let our teammates know this too, that he's missing, and that it's probably a late call, because we don't want him ganking bottom and getting an easy kill. Yeah, we should probably have paid attention to when he left, but I mean, we were doing something that was pretty micro-intensive, so it's not really that big of a deal, especially since we got a kill. Just happens sometimes, you know. So as I was saying, build on her. Went with Blood Chalice. I wouldn't normally support Blood Chalice on her without a bottle because she's pretty squishy, she can't really support it, but with a bottle there are enough times, I think, where you're going to want more mana and have full HP that just being able to Blood Chalice in the bottle is great. It's kind of embarrassing missing last hits when you're here by yourself. Ideally it shouldn't happen too much, but as I said, I'm a little rusty. I don't think I've played Hag in 6 months, maybe once, I don't know. So here, yeah, we're just gonna teal pings up here, so we run up blindly, not knowing what the situation is, and probably die. That was basically a situation of, alright, so running through the river is bad when people are on the sides because they can see you and you can't see them. It gives them really an unfair advantage, which is why we normally don't run up the river, but we assumed with the way that he was chasing and pinging that there had to be a really low HP hero running away, so we were just going to do whatever we could to cut them off as quickly as possible. This is basically an issue. Back when I used to play basketball in high school, I had a coach who always said this saying, know your personnel, he would say, which is basically to say you should have an understanding of, like, I mean, you're not going to throw a behind the back pass to someone under the basket who has bad hands and isn't paying attention. Same principle here. I'm sorry if a basketball analogy is kind of annoying. Anyway, it's basically that teal, we can maybe assume, based off his Blood Hunter over Voodoo Jester pick, the fact that he's landing with Blood Hunter, etc., might not be the best player in the world, or might not make always the best decisions. So a decision that he's leading us into making could be a poor one. So again, just knowing who you're playing with is probably a good idea. Just like maybe because of what we saw from the tree in the beginning, we're not going to trust him explicitly either, or implicitly. So yeah. That was basically just a situation where we didn't have sufficient knowledge, maybe because we weren't paying enough attention to the minimap, which we should have been. Yeah, we're kind of looking down there. If we had a TP scroll, we would TP down there, but we don't. This is actually kind of a mistake. But we didn't have enough money to buy a TP scroll when we were originally at the base, and we don't have a courier to send it to ourselves, so that's rough, not much you can do about it. I guess we could have bought a TP scroll instead of finishing our boots, but I really wanted to finish our boots. The health is important, since Hag doesn't have a lot of health. We see Torturer running up here by himself, so we're going to blink over, throw out a Haunt right away. Sonar Scream first, I guess, just because it's easy, and then throw out a Haunt. We could throw out a blind Bat Blast, but I don't really want to risk wasting a 1 cooldown ultimate like that. We assume we'd be able to cut him off there, but he doesn't run that way, so we're just going to guess that he's run back down. That's not the case either, so we're going to double check one more time to see if he ran up. We got there too early, but he didn't, so we're going to blink to the tower, hoping he's there. He's also not there. We didn't blink to the tower initially, even though he could have been there, just because it's a really risky move. His stun should have been on cooldown because we saw him miss it, but still, blinking to towers is almost always a bad idea. DD rune top, which is actually great for Hag, just because with her ability to blink, she can generally do a lot of damage blinking around and right-clicking on heroes with DD. See, all these creeps are kind of low, so we're going to make sure we want to blink in here and get these last hits. We're going to be doing this a lot, basically all game. The idea is just that anytime there's a creep wave that we wouldn't get, or creeps that we wouldn't get, and we can spend a little mana and get, it's usually worth it. We have a bottle and blood chalice, so we can keep up pretty well. Yeah, we're just asking the tree for armor here. Apparently he's actually just got us on follow, which is kind of just what I was talking about earlier. There we go, finally get the armor. So we're going to try to set up a gank top with our double damage. We actually considered checking the woods, but then just decide. As you can see, our creep wave is almost dead here, so we have a very small window of opportunity to jump on Dark Lady before she leaves. Bombardier actually sees us in the woods, unfortunately, and lands a really good bomb on us. So we can't really just run up because we don't want to get we don't want the bomb to explode and then be stunned for a long time, where their heroes can just beat on us, maybe chain stun. So we kind of have to play a little defensively there, especially because of the Dark Lady ultimate. We're kind of in a bad spot here, so we're just going to stall, bottle up a little bit, and then blink out, which is no problem. No reason not to do a little damage to this Armadon with our double damage while we can, even though we can't really kill an Armadon, even with the double damage. Here, Forsaken throws out an ultimate. We probably shouldn't still her kills like that. She probably needs the farm a little bit more than us, but based on her using that ultimate, maybe it's safe to assume that the farm is actually safer on us. We're just going once again to the runes. Always important to pay attention to rune timing. Unfortunately, the Bombardier picks it up before us. This isn't a fight we can really win. We throw out a haunt and leave. It's a good thing that his bomb missed us. That would have been kind of unfortunate. As you can see again, just always making sure to take out creep waves that we wouldn't otherwise get by blinking in and Sonar Screaming. As long as it's in a safe position. We're obviously not doing this across the river, because if we blink into something and then the hero stuns us, we're pretty much screwed, because our blink's going to be on a long or not a long cooldown, but a reasonable cooldown before we can use it again. But on our side of the river, it's pretty safe to blink in and get creep score, and it's important to get gold when we're not really doing anything else, which kind of is happening at this point in the game. The beginning is not super exciting. I apologize for that. It does get better, I promise. Anyway, just kind of hanging out. We have a bottle, so it's not super important for us to go back to base, because in a minute we'll be able to hopefully get a new rune and bottle up, get some more health and mana. So we're just going to hang out, get some more experience, try to get our ultimate to level 2, which is really important. Because we have some really nice ultimates on our team, actually, to set it up. Bubbles ultimating. Oh, I actually want to talk about something, and then I'll get back to that in a second. You can see we actually attacked the Warlock once here, then waited for the tower to hit it twice, and attacked it again. For a good portion of the game, or at least until your damage gets much higher, or if you're like a melee hero with really high base damage and a hatchet like Kronos, maybe a few early levels, you'll be fine. But most heroes, Warlocks take 2 hero hits and 2 tower hits to kill. So if you hit it once, wait for the tower to hit it twice, or hit it once while the tower's hitting it, and... anyway, 3 things to talk about. Alright. We're running here. Bubbles throws down a good ultimate, as I was talking about, and we try to Bat Blast. We right-click over there, or we click Bat Blast and click over there, and the pathing tells us to move down instead. So we really were, like where we're standing right now is where we were trying to Bat Blast, because there were 2 heroes set up for it, but we didn't, even though we clicked it, basically because I'm not trying to say this is a bad game, because I do love Han, but one of the faults in the game is definitely the pathing. It's not very great. We do get an ult here we can set up. It actually hits 3 people, so it was pretty good in the long run anyway. Or 2 people. It didn't hit the Dimension Shaman like I thought it did. We're going to try to get this Bombardier, not capable of, so we blink out into a safe spot, and then attack the Armadon from range. And maybe our Blood Hunter's going to go chase down the Bombardier. Yeah, so, as I was saying, pathing fail kind of happens occasionally, not much you can do about it. Bubbles is really going Rambo on these people, so he's going to die. What was I talking about before? I feel like oh yeah, just hitting Warlocks. It's just an important thing to know, little things like that. Exactly how much damage a hero or a creep takes before it dies in various situations. Just helps you get easier last hits. So that's all. It was safe for me to take a little bit of damage there and use my mana, because I knew there was regen here. I probably should just grab the regen initially, once again, me being greedy, which I will talk about a little bit later. And then the other thing, that I was saying, we do have pretty good synergy for my ultimate on our team, so it's important to value the ultimate highly rather than using it frequently, because a tree ult can set up a pretty good ultimate from us, a bubbles into tree ult would be great, or just a bubbles ult into our ult. All these can set up our ult pretty well. We're just going to kind of pressure this Dark Lady a little bit. We were telling our teammates to go, they're a little slow coming, but they're still coming eventually, so we're going to keep going. We kind of try to blink past the tower. Blood Hunter throws down an ult, so we're going to run in here. We're actually going to Sonar Scream, and we didn't blink in because we want to be able to blink out in case we get creep blocked, which is exactly what happens there. So we run in Southern Scream and then blink out, rather than blinking in. This is one of the most important decision-making processes to make as playing Hag, is just when to blink and when not to. Because if you blink into an unfavorable situation, you're pretty screwed, because you need that blink to get out. Blink is not only your initiation method, but it's also your escape method, or mechanism. So yeah, it's just always important. Demented Shaman's playing up really far, so we're going to try to DPS him, but he's got more support than we really have, so there's not a lot we can do about it. So we're just going to kind of back off a little bit. Forsaken Archer with another questionable ultimate. We see Pink on the minimap at the top rune spot. Yeah, you can see him right now. And then we see that there's no rune there, so we're going to look bottom. There's no rune there either, which means Pink has gotten a rune. This means we need to back off. Pink could be coming with a haste right now. Pink could be invis. We have no idea. We have, a few heroes at half health. No one at full health, basically. They have their almost entire team up here with Pink, probably their entire team. So there's no reason to fight. Hold on, I need to pause this video once more, and then I'll continue talking about this. Okay, and we're good. So as I was saying, it's just really not a good situation to be in. We have no idea what rune he is. He could, more likely than not at this point, since he hasn't showed himself, he probably has an invis rune. Or at least that's just safe to assume, because that's the worst case situation. So being up there is just not good. We have low HP heroes, we have a room we don't know about, there's just no reason to fight. You could say it's bad to give up a tower, but it's worse to lose hero kills and give up a tower. So our team wants us up there, but it's not a good situation. We're telling them they shouldn't be there either, but of course they're not going to listen. So yeah, basically they're just going to die. As expected, Bombardier did something crazy from the beginning, don't really know exactly what, and our teammates are dying. So yeah. They're of course going to complain to us, you're farming, you're letting us lose a tower, if you were there we would have gotten kills, etc. Kind of the usual, but as I pointed out in an earlier video, it's better to let your teammates make mistakes than to make mistakes with them. Yeah, we're going to blink out here just because we want to not die. Because yeah, as I said, it's certainly better to just give up a tower and not have deaths than to give up a tower and die. So we really should just continue to farm it. We shouldn't probably... Well, we kind of ran over there maybe hoping to pick someone off that was low HP after the fight. But, yeah, just not a good situation to be in. Maybe if we'd been there we would have won, who knows, but you don't know that from the beginning. All you know is that you're in an unfavorable situation, and there's no reason to fight in that. Okay, so here's something to point out. I actually have 3,300 gold, and I don't have an item yet. This is a big mistake on my part. Because you never know when you're going to... If you had had an item, you would have been able to get a kill that you wouldn't otherwise. So I really should have bought something. I'll talk about why I didn't in a second, but actually there's this torturer here that we're going to want to kill. So I run in, actually throw down my ult because I know it'll get rid of his illusions right away. Unfortunately, my ult removes all my mana, and I don't have mana to blink. I should have actually changed my boots to int real quick and then been able to blink away, but I didn't. That was my mistake. Again, a little rusty. Our Forsaken Archer misses a volley and then dies. Teal is actually complaining to us, which is what my little text was almost about, but I restrained myself. He was complaining because he was saying we should have been top. It was dumb of us. We just died anyway. We should have been top, etc. Okay, so that pretty much pointed out perfectly. Oh, well, yeah, I guess I can explain a little bit about the boots, which is to say that, so if you have Steam boots, which is why I do, if you notice, have them in the middle spot, so I can press Shift W to change them. And I do change them on some heroes. It usually depends how much the hero has that I have to pay attention to, whether I change them or not, frequently. Like someone like Kronos, I probably change my boots more than someone like Hag, where there's more things that I can regularly be concerned with. So yeah, if I press Shift W twice, I would have changed my boots into int, which would have given me enough mana to blink away. It's kind of counterintuitive because you're thinking, well, this is a bad situation. I'm losing health. I certainly don't want to give up any more health than I already have. But it would have probably let me survive that situation. Yeah. So about the items, I mean, yeah, that pretty much just proved my point. There's no reason to have that much money and not have spent it, because you never know when you're going to have wanted it. If we had a flying courier, I probably would have bought something already, but we don't. Again, support. This is why it's so important, so very important to buy a flying courier. We see Pink by himself. We're actually going to try to pick him off. So yeah, we're going to set up to blink into him right here. We want to throw out a haunt, but he actually fogs our haunt. So we just are content to have pushed him back and take this creep score. Alright, so part of the reason why I actually haven't bought anything yet is because my normal de facto item on Wretched Hag would be a nullstone. However, their team really nullifies a nullstone. No pun intended. Which is to say, it's always good to reevaluate your item choices as well. So here they have Armadon, who can shoot Snot. They have Demented Shaman with his poison thing, which is a pretty short cooldown. Dark Lady with Taint Soul. All these are short cooldown, little spammable spells that don't have a huge effect, so blocking them with the Nullstone is not too relevant, but the Nullstone is going to block